issues. And so things are not always so simple. And so one way that HAF steps in is by providing some accuracy and some context to headlines that our policymakers might be seeing. We also see headlines where some of the cow protection laws that have been on the books in India since the formation of the modern state of India have been on the books, but it's very often portrayed as something that's more a recent trend, when really these are laws that have been rooted in respect to the indigenous culture and civilization that is India. Another way that we educate not just policymakers, not just journalists, but our own community. Many people are not aware of, many people in our community are practicing vegetarians, but they don't necessarily know the violence that now is entailed in the dairy industry. And I think that the presentation earlier touched upon this in terms of how do we support ethical milk, drinking milk, buying butter, cheese, all of these things that we take for granted as vegetarians aren't necessarily cruelty-free. So in partnership with other projects like the Bhumi Project, we have highlighted in ways to reach members of our own community who may not be aware of modern dairy farm practices and the cruelty that's involved. It's also a way for us to be able to share the work of more positive movements that are being propelled by people within our community. I'm from the state of Pennsylvania now, and we have Gita Nagari Farms, for instance, that is committed to cruelty-free milk production. And I saw in the presentation that Sri Surabhi has those types of plans in its future. So these are ways in which we can highlight the work, the good work that's happening in the community, and also educate our own community members. We've also highlighted the work of other cow sanctuaries, and I look forward to highlighting the work of Sri Surabhi in the future. One is the Lakshmi Cow Sanctuary in particular, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. The last area that I want to talk to you about is action. That in addition to our personal practices and how we can promote this teaching of living in consonance with animals and to have our own lifestyle be in a way that supports the well-being of the planet, there's also ways in which we can shape policies that are going to promote that. One of those ways is supporting a plant-based diet. We know in Ayurvedic tradition, we have a long tradition, thousands of years of a tradition of a plant-based diet that meets all of our nutritional needs, and it allows us to keep disease at bay. So there are ways in which in the United States even, there are policies that are trying to bring about this sort of awareness. So a couple of years ago, we partnered with the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, and they had worked with a congressman to get something called the Healthy School Meals Act proposed. And that was an act that would provide federal funding to public schools to provide more plant-based options in public schools. So that gives you another idea of how you can kind of extend the work that we might do at a Goshala that's very tangible and take it to a policy level where it can have kind of a symbiotic impact. I mentioned the Humane Society of the United States earlier. And so our commitment to working on policies that promote the ethical treatment of animals and the well-being of animals has been an opportunity for us to work with organizations to get legislation at both the state level as well as the federal level that tries to slowly but surely, it's a long uphill battle. Someone mentioned that, can we educate people to not slaughter their cows? That is a very long-term goal because the culture here is is a meat consumption culture. And so we have to take baby steps. Hopefully in our lifetime, we will, I think we're already starting to see a reduction in the use of animal products, but much more can be done. In the meantime, those baby steps might include regulations on how many chickens can be kept in cages, what needs to be done in the care of cows if they are in a slaughterhouse. Currently, there are 10 billion land animals that are raised and killed each year for meat, eggs, and milk. And in these industrial farm practices, animals are kept in gravely inhumane, often filthy conditions that threaten not just the animals themselves, but the surrounding environment and the neighborhoods that for people living nearby. So that's another area in which we can all, as individuals, take action by asking our elected representatives. And I know Riteshji's here. Hopefully someday we'll see you in Congress and we'll come to your office to ask you to support something like this, but a bill that would legislate the ethical treatment of animals. And then the last way that we have acted on behalf of the well-being of animals is intervention. Several years ago in Pennsylvania, I mentioned the Lakshmi Cow Sanctuary, but someone left a severed cow head on the driveway of this cow sanctuary. Now, the local police were just, investigating it as a run-of-the-mill prank or something along that lines. They didn't understand the significance of the cow in Hindu Dharma. As a result of making them aware of that, it changes the nature of their investigation. All of a sudden, they were looking at it as possibly a hate crime. And this sort of thing is important because if it was a hate crime and there is animosity towards Hindus or Hindu institutions, right where Lakshmi Cow Sanctuary, there's an ashram, Arshvidya Gurukulam, and another Hindu temple. One act that seems kind of random could have an effect on many people who are routinely coming to this area. So it was an opportunity for us to educate law enforcement. We also, when we went to the cow sanctuary, realized that the local Hindu community had not necessarily built the bridges with local law enforcement. Law enforcement wasn't aware whether they were welcome to come. They were kind of hesitant. So it allowed them to kind of have a third party come in and help build a bridge so that, you're not just looking to law enforcement when you're in trouble, but it's an opportunity to invite them in and to make them aware of what our cultural practices are and what inspires us to do what we do and our worldview. Similarly, this was probably 10 or 15 years ago, but there was a family who wanted to keep cows on their property. They had something like 10 or 15 acres. And the local community, probably a little bit out of kind of religious discrimination and animosity, were applying a local ordinance to them in a way that was different from other families that had chickens and pigs on their property. So we intervened by filing an amicus brief, which is a friend of the court brief, and took the opportunity to educate the court then it was the New York Superior Court on what the cow means in the Hindu tradition and for a Hindu family, how it's rooted in the tradition, how that might play out in different practices. Now, unfortunately, the court didn't rule in the family's favor, but it was still an opportunity to educate not just the court, but for every media outlet that covered the story, they also learned something new. So with that, I just want to say that, Sri Surabhi is another important addition to the Hindu American landscape. And, we know the research shows that you feel good spending time with cows. We know that it can be a model for sustainability for the future. And once you have something positive, that positivity is going to spread in one way or another. So I would ask that not just people locally, but people from across the US, the easiest thing to do is to first support financially. We are, we oftentimes boast about being the most educationally and financially successful community. Well, then put money where our mouths are. And we should support good causes like Shri Surabhi. The second thing I would say, and I'm so happy to see pictures of my niece Chinmay and my nephew Krishang share pictures on Instagram. That's how I found out about this and liked their photo. But give time with your seva. I can guarantee that you're going to get a lot more than what you're going to be giving. And then the third is spread the joy. Invite your friends and neighbors, invite your classmates and colleagues, invite your classrooms. But this is a great bridge. Cows can be a great bridge for building friendship and dispelling stereotypes and really being a positive role model in your community. So thank you for having me. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Suhaji, for inspiring all of us to do the right work. And also, we never knew a lot about the Hindu American Foundation activities, and you have certainly thrown some light of it. I'm sure there's a lot we can learn from each other. And thank you for your time
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
thing today. Does anybody have a question for the speaker?
Okay. I think we are just interest of time, Prabhu. We just continue.
Yes. All right. We should.
One thing is, I just want to thank Suhag Shukla ji. You have representatives right 2 miles away from the Goshala. Chinmay, Vinodji, Sunil Shukla, all your Shukla family is helping us a lot. And I think it's all inspiration coming from you and the entire your family. Thank you so much for all your help and support to the Goshala.
Thank you. Thank you. I look forward to being here in person.
Yes.
Thank you. So let's keep rolling in the interest of time. Ritesh Tandonji, welcome to welcome to our webinar again. So, I mean, we have one question for you. So, in your opinion, given a lot of the Western way of life or the living, so how do you instill cow protection in our society? When if you put that as a pegging question, if you could enlighten us, that would be awesome.
Sure. First of all, Hare Krishna. And also yesterday was a great day. I like to wish everyone happy Ekadashi and Gita Jayanti to all of you. And thank you so much, Suhagji, for sharing this. And Sadhanaji, what you have mentioned earlier, I don't know, many people know about it, but last 20 years, I'm in the United States. But first thing what I started is working for the Shankara Foundation. So I'm relating all this thing with the Shankara Eye Foundation, where we built 10 eye hospitals performing 150,000 free eye surgeries. For every hospital, we used to raise about $3.5 to $5 million. And I think looking into SK Prabhuji work and all the team here, awesome team, I'm very confident that we'll be able to exceed as well as able to build what the vision this team is having. And I'm very blessed and honored to be here to talking with you. For me, actually, the last 20 years I described, I'm not a politician. The reason why I joined the election race was of our cause, our Hinduism. Today, when we look into our community in the United States, we are about 1% here, right here in the United States, approximately 3.3% of population. When we look into our culture, our Hindu dharma, Western world is already adopting this dharma. Today, 30 million Americans are there who are doing one or other form of yoga. I can tell you like vegetarianism, non-violent ethic, yoga, meditation, all become the part of the people. And I like to thank the ISKCON for doing the fantastic work, for working with the people and bringing the fact to the community. I'm very excited to see like Om, it is chanted as one of the widely accepted mantra across the United States. When we look into the California, this is converting into the vegan place. And when Dilip ji, he has talked about multiple advantages of cows and everything, I think people are getting awareness. Today, 9.6 million people, they are vegan. And I can tell you, this is nothing, but it is our Hindu dharma. This is what we were doing in the past. And now slowly and gradually, I see that transformation is happening. And I agree with Suhagji that it will going to take some time, but we are getting there. We, in the Hindu dharma, it taught us to connect with the nature, connect with the natural thing and avoid chemicals. Today, when we look into the common people life, these chemicals, fertilizers, they are killing human. And people are realizing this thing. When we look into the America, it is one of the richest country in the world. Still every day, I'm very sad to see about 3,000 to 3,400 people were dying every day. And even though when we compare with the population of India, which is about 1.3 million, that number was very small. About 300 people were suffering there back in India versus here, which is only 330 million. And out of that, 3,400 were dying every day. This clearly shows that the food what we are eating here, right here in the America, it needs to be improved. I'm going to talk more about on the production side on the later end, but some fact what I want to share that today we as a Hindus also, we are not very excited to say that we are proud Hindu. Today we have to change that culture in ourselves as well, and we need to be proud, and we need to support our cause, like what SK Prabhuji is doing, and we need to show to this world that our ancestors and our generations, those who have worked and those who have the knowledge, it is helpful to the world. Today, when we look into the schools, our children, they are not taught the right Hindu culture in our school books. And thanks to Sanjay Tripathi ji for working very hard in making those changes. We need to go above and beyond now, and we need to talk about Panchagua and how it helps, and how this cow milk, cow dung, ghee, and the cow urine helps to cure so many diseases where the people are suffering here. In fact, despite having the higher population, Indian population, I can tell you today, none of the Indian languages are taught here in the school. And that was very surprising when I found out the basic Hindi was not there. But when I look into the Japanese and Spanish and Vietnamese, Japanese are even less than 1%, but Japanese is not in our language in the schools, but not Hindi. So this is where actually we need to continue and bring and enlighten the people. Because today, Western people, they do understand that Hinduism emphasizes to live our life with all the pluralism, faith, and it's going to improve the life of the human being. In fact, one of my things will be, if I go to the Congress, is bringing our dharma a lot more to the American life. Today we are ignored because America controlled by capitalists, controlled by the people who have the self-interest, and we need to change that going forward. And the other question, it was asked like how we can instill the cow production in our society. And this is, I can say that only way we can bring this change in the society is by bringing the diet change to the vegetarian and vegan diet and sharing the benefit of the mother cow and letting the people know that how the cows, they are not only helping you during their life, but they are always with you even after their death, where the people, they makes so many leather shoes and other things. In our tradition, we treat the cow as a mother because it's feeding the whole family through the milk and the related product like ghee, butter, curds, sweets, like our mother is doing for our children. In fact, the cow urine, there's so many benefits are there, but this world is not allowing it to explore, to get the true value of it. And this is where SK Prabhuji, I think will bring the great change, because cow urine not only bring the change, but also it is antibacterial, antifungal, antiseptic, can be used in the fertilizers. When we look into our food today, the farmers, they are using the chemicals. Even the people, when they are eating meat, those cows, they are full of injections so that they can generate, they can give a lot more milk. And Suhagji, I 100% agree with you. Like so much torture happened to these cows. And when these cows, they stop giving milk, these people, they just slaughter them. In fact, this is such a sad part of the human being is that we are not able to protect these cows and take care of them who are helping us. Today, we see the major issues, what is happening because of the poor quality of food, which is produced because of the high fertilizer, because of the chemical fertilizers which is used and making people unhappy. When I went to the SK Prabhuji's house, actually, he gave me zakuchi, and I did not tell SK Prabhuji that I did not like it, but he gave me with so much love that I took the zakuchi at home. And first thing I asked my wife, please make this for me, for tomorrow's lunch. And I can tell you, the quality of that zucchini was so good. Now that is my one of the favorite food. And I can say that people that don't know the real thing of the natural fertilizer, which is created with the cow dung and the urine, and how it changed the life of the people. Besides this, our children, they need to know all the benefit, not only from the schools, but it need to be researched to the colleges. Now, how the multi-level and multi-years of the research done on the medicine the same way. And today the societies, they don't allow you because they are generating billions and billions of dollars. And this thing will come at the very low cost to the human being. When we look and I can
Riteshji, your voice is breaking up.
let me see.
I think we lost his video also, I think.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So do we wait for him to come back, Prabhu?
Yeah, I
don't know
think
if he's going to.
and we can I think continue, and then Riteshji can chime in back.
Yes.
I think join back. So yeah,
Yes.
and yes, please, Rajivji and Sanjayji, Hari Prabhu, we can start asking the
Sure.
question. Yeah.
Sure. Welcome, Sanjay ji, for this seminar, and thank you for patiently being here and listening to us. Quick question for you is, as a very strong follower of Hindu Dharma and a leader at HSS, what is the importance of cow protection? And the main thing is, the root is, we are all talking, this is of one generation, there is the youth that has to be involved. So in your opinion, what should be some of those things that we should do to inspire the youth in America so that they imbibe this culture? And any thoughts on this, Sanjayji, that you can share would be very nice.
Sanjayji, you are in mute.
Yeah, there was a phone ringing in my home, so that's why I was just keeping it mute.
No problem.
Yeah,
No problem.
it'll be over now, sir. So, namaste, everyone. So, the question what were you were asking? Just again, let me just switch it off.
Sorry, but I'm back, but I'll wait for Sanjay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. No problem. I think we lost him.
So what you were the question you were asking? So the way I see is that when it comes to connecting to Bhagavad Gita or meditation or to yoga or to Vedanta, all these things. They are taking a very quick and very fast route into this world, especially into the Western world. But as Dr. Patil was saying in the beginning, that the way Indic thought, some of the very fundamental, like we are discussing about how the cow production, how the how this thing, thinking about this thing into a positive way, it is going to be a very, very tough task, very difficult. Because in the Western notion, cow is being sort of treated only for two purposes: milk or meat. That's all. Be done with it. And until unless, and we think, we Hindus, we treat cow as more of a reverential. So the reverence comes because of long connection, very, very long, deep connection. So till the time that reverence is developed, thinking about that, the people in the West, they are going to be thinking about cows as something beyond milk or meat is not something like it's a wrong expectation to start with, I would say. So that's why this task is very tough, and because of that reason, we need to be spending our time into working with our youth so that they get an experience of it. They don't think this is a primitive. So working one person at a time, one family at a time, that is the only way. We might think that that's a very slow way, but that's the only sure way also. So otherwise, thinking about very long, very big dream, that's one thing. But these are some of very fundamental things. As Dr. Patil was saying, that after studying all these things, but he never thought that this is also of any value, Ayurveda as such. But somehow chance, something happened, and maybe he spent some time, or because of something, he spent some time, then he also found that no, there is also some relevance in it. And then because of some karma, maybe, that he spent some more time into it, then he found more relevance to it. And further, he finds more relevance to it, and he connects more. And then that reverence is increasing. So once you have a reverence, then you think about something is worth investing my time. So HSS has about 220 plus chapters across nation, about 30 plus in Bay Area. And our work also is man making, one by one. Sometimes people think it's very primitive, just like the topic we are talking here. But that is the only way and sure way of making sure that this place is a better place tomorrow, next week, the following month, next year. This is the only way. Maybe we will not see this thing into our lifetime, but that is the only way to sustain this world. So Sangh has been working with this larger philosophy. And of course, we have been connecting with the community in various ways. And the idea of Sangha is how do we bring all the people and community and organizations, and they all contribute, they all are doing great work. How they can work together for the larger ecosystem, because we need to develop the ecosystem. How our next generation, the kids in our home, how they will feel confident that this also is a good way, that we can see cow also as this way. So we also need to be spending our time. How do we take them to some of these places with ourselves? We should be visiting. We should be taking our kids also along. Otherwise, they think, oh, there is a cow dung, there is a gomutra, this thing. Suddenly, this thought process comes. That how that thought, no, this is also something sacred. This is also something worth my time putting into it. So that work is difficult, but somebody has to do it. If we think that this is something important. So what Sri Krishna Purushottam Das Mahodaya, so what he has done, he thought about it because of some inspiration, that this is something worth spending my time and energy into this life. And that's how he has brought all of us also together here. Hindus have done good work of building a lot of temples. A lot of temples they have built. They also need to be somehow spending some more time into investing a lot of money also, and their resources. They have enough resources and money. So when you think about, at least in North America, richest community, they have enough money. And but how do they also put some of these things also into the priority of spending some energy and time and the resources into building them these goshalas, because that's where their kids also will get some of these very formative things Otherwise, there will be something, but they will not be having complete. I'll just quote an example. Maybe you all would have read it. Maybe if not read it, go and read it. When we read Valmiki Ramayana, in Valmiki Ramayana, Shatanand, the Prime Minister of Janak, he narrates about Vishwamitra. So Vishwamitra has been going every day, and he ultimately reaches to the palace of Janak. And every day, Vishwamitra has been telling, this place is what? Because every day Ram and Lakshman is there with him. And he tells them every day in the night, they always touch, unka pair dabate hain in Hindi mein. So every day in the night, and then he tells the story, oh, this is Ganga, oh, the story of Ganga, oh, this place is this, oh, this place is this. So what story behind this thing? But once they reach to the Janakpur, and then Shatanand, the Prime Minister of Janaka, he tells a story about that. Do you all know that this person with whom you have been coming, Vishwamitra, do you know about him, about his story? So if you read the story of Vishwamitra, there is a cow which ultimately changed his all arrogance about himself. Of course, there is a Vashishta is there, whose cow Kamdhenu, Shabla was there. But that cow ultimately changed his thought that all this wealth, whatsoever, and he also happened to be somebody who knew all the Astra and Shastra. Nobody else knew, because of further, if you read more about him, who he was. So he was the only person who knew all these things, all the weaponry, everything. That's how he taught to Ram also all these things. But a cow changed all these things, his whole thought process finally. And we all would have watched this movie of Lord of the Rings. So if you visualize that fight of Vishwamitra's army and the Shabala's army, the way she comes up, the whole movie, Lord of the Rings, somehow when I was watching, I was thinking that somebody would have read maybe the Valmiki Ramayana, the depiction of this army, and they would have come to this movie. So how somebody very powerful person also got a change. So same way, our kids also, we can make sure that they also are holistically they are being developed, where they are thinking about becoming very good engineer, doctor, lawyer, whatsoever it is, but also thinking about their community also. And all these things, and like all this thought is there into us, great things are there, but how do we make sure that they take all these things? And for that purpose, we need to be bringing to them these things more and more nearer to them. And for that purpose, these things has to be there near us. If there is no Goshala near us, where you will take them? They will only know them that cows are there, and cows are for this purpose, or milk, or for this thing. They don't know that you can go and you can spend some time with them. And as pretty much all the speakers said, that cuddling, once you go and spend some time, like in the earlier, if you read the scriptures, so when a student is very agitated, the Guruji will say, go and spend some time with the cows. The whole agitation will go away. So how do we bring this type of environment? For that purpose, very good effort is being done into our neighborhood. Recently, I moved also to the East Coast, East Bay side. So I think it's much nearer to my place now, and I'm hoping that I'll make some more trips also over there and spend some time over there. So thank you for to you all sharing all your great thoughts, and very inspiring, very interesting thing. And thank you, Krishna Prabhu, for inviting me. And whatever is there with HSS Sangha, we will definitely help out. And we will be also be asking our kids also to come over there, spend some time. It's going to be a very remarkable thing. So
Thank you.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Reverence to Lord of the Rings. You have covered everything. Developing reverence to Mother Cow.
From past 20 years, Sanjay ji, every third Saturday, he does the Ramayana Parayan. And whatever it may be, anything, he is a busy leader, traveling all the places, but he does it. And that shows his love for the Sanskrit and also for the Ramayana. Thank you, Sanjay ji. Hare Krishna. Okay.
So I think we have one more speaker for the day.
Yeah, Rajiv ji,
go ahead, SKB Prabhu. No, go ahead. You had a comment?
No. I just we want to Rajiv ji, can you unmute yourself? And I think you let
Yeah.
me ask.
So I have a question for Rajiv ji.
Go ahead. Yes. Yeah.
So,
I'll
yeah. So welcome Rajiv ji again. Thanks for being
Thank you.
patient. And our question is because you have a lot of technology background, you have a lot of ideas all the time. So our question to you is, in your vision, how can Silicon Valley and technology play a very important and a pivotal role in cow protection, or the activities that we are trying to do here?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a huge topic, but I'll try to be as summarized as possible.
Sure.
Otherwise, people may go to sleep. So with the hope that nobody goes to sleep.
We don't want them to be hungry.
I know, hunger and sleep go together. And we don't have the Go Kshetra cow milk also to keep us. Anyway, so I run my own big data lab here. And I've continued to do work in healthcare informatics, right? So I'm interacting with fairly large hospitals and in doing some work with them. So to refer to Dr. Sanjeev Patil, I think, right? He's the one who mentioned the word microbiome, right? Surprisingly, the word microbiome is basically microorganisms in your gut. But what I met some of the senior doctors, they're doing is they're trying to link the microorganisms, which in their world is called microbiome, in your gut and in the animal and in the soil. These three things have been disconnected because of rural-urban split, because of separating livestock, that is dairy farming, and agriculture. They were all being split because of corporatization, right? Previously, the dairy and the agriculture and all were integrated. Now they have been disintegrated. So a lot of research is being done on this microorganism, or what you call as flora, right? So I got interested in that and found out that something that is already inherent within our culture of the past is what's coming back, right, in some of these top hospitals now. So that's where my interest got picked, and I started picking on the loose threads. And very interesting self-discovery over the last 3 years, to a point where I'm trying to get to work with maybe Krishna or any other example farm. So interesting discoveries is, as much as we all are proud to do what we are doing, our heritage, but like somebody on the call mentioned, well, let's put your money where the mouth is. There is not much money in this, right? Even in India, right? Even with all this big initiative going on there, the budget for the animal husbandry was just 2,000 crores. We have the largest livestock population in the world, next to Brazil and China, right? And our budget is, I think, 58. So we have 2,000 crores allocated for 200 million cattle in the country and 180 million farmers, right? So the budget is proposed to go up to 10,000 crores, but it's very mired in bureaucratic wrangle. And I'm just giving you some important pointers to take away between our passion of what you call as go support, and between what's reality. That's reality number one. Reality number two. So all of India, I traveled a lot in the last 3 years. I've gone almost 10 times. So there is only one institute which integrates Ayurveda and allopathy, and it's not making much headway, but at least it's a very courageous initiative, right? Because there's no regulation or FDA like Ritesh ji mentioned in the US. India is a little open. There's only one university. It's called the Transdisciplinary University, right? So it's funded by J.R.D. Tata and so many other people. Very courageous. But here is the sad part of that institute, right? So I went and met some people there. The sad part of the institute is 90% of the funding of that institute comes from Netherlands, not from India. That is a second reality, right? So let's look at the third reality. the study of microbiome, the link between the flora in the cow and the soil and the human being, is literally done by no hospital group in this country, but only one hospital group, and I'm in touch with them, right? Due to confidentiality, I can't mention. They are trying to integrate something called the bench to bedside models, which is integrating the lab and the hospital and possibly the farm through UC Davis, right? There's only one hospital. So our budget in the US is about 300 billion. There's only one hospital trying to look into it. There is only one body in the United States which is trying to integrate Ayurveda allopathy. It's called the American University for Complementary Medicine. It's based in LA, right? So there's only one institute, possibly in North America. There's one in Europe and one in India, which is the Transdisciplinary University. So between the passion and the activity that we all have in this group, this is reality, right? So I am just coming in from trying to build a model of how to link the three together. So I introduced Krishnaji, the farm, to the top Indian veterinary doctor and geneticist. So I've already started working on a couple of interesting models. They're not easy to do, but I will need one farm to try to put those models in. So looking at the passion of Krishnaji and being in the valley. So, and I will also get a top doc from the top hospital in US to be participant in this study. So you'll have a top doc in the US, the one and only hospital that is doing the microbiome study. We'll have a top veterinary geneticist from India. We'll have Krishnaji's farm and about 6 or 7 different technologies that I'm trying to coalesce to try to bring a meaning to that model. Once the model is established, then we can move the model towards agriculture, towards milk, dairy farming, and possibly supporting medicine groups in these hospitals. So that's what my intent is. I'll just stop here because I know there's a lot to digest, but that's what I'm involved in. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajivji. I think Rajivji, Riteshji also, I was talking to him. He's having many ideas, and he's connecting with me with so many geology, the gene part of it, right? I asked the question, how do you know this is a pure Indian breed of cow or not? So, and all these questions, I just go to Rajivji, and he is able to connect with me so many doctors in India, and he's also very knowledgeable in personally himself. He saw the bull when he came last time. He said, "Oh, what's a Lord's creation? Like our bull is a 6 feet height," and he was just glorifying the bull. And you need to have the taste and the passion. Thank you, Rajivji, being in the call today. And finally, the Riteshji was dropped out, and you want to take final comments, and then we have one deck to show. Then a drama. We'll end the call after that. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, if I may, I want to thank Rajiv Ji. That was probably the most motivating, inspirational connection I've seen, because today we've brought about a lot of set of challenges. And I think in that study, you start to raise the bar from primitive to educational, and then start engaging, young minds. We start to see how a farm like ours can add value through Ayurveda, not just by products, but by curing people. This is really the heart of the connection that we have with our Gao culture, right? This is really what we are. So thank you for that. I'm very enthusiastic on that study. So hopefully I can help some way there. Thank you.
I will connect Rajivji, Sadhanaji later. So
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, anybody who can add value or want to participate in this in any shape or form is welcome. So
great, thank you.
Over to you, Riteshji, so you can finish this.
Hare Krishna, yeah, apologize, my call was dropped. I'll just take 1 minute. So what Sanjay ji described, like cow is for meat and milk, that's what our children know. We need to add one more M to it, that mother cow. And we need to teach our children from the school to all the way when they go to the college, they should do more research. Also, we need to have more incentives to the companies, to the restaurants serving the vegan meal. So some kind of bills can be added, which will save the cruelty which is happening on all the animals. Also, like some research work which was never done or touched on our heritage, and which can bring the change in the life of the people. We have to continue to work on that. So with that, I just like to request everyone that Shri Shubhi is doing fantastic work, and SK Prabhu sir, he has devoted his life to the cause and all the people here. My humble request is to donate to this cause, as well as to reach out to your friends who can donate, or you can connect SK Prabhu sir to the people who can donate. We need to continue and keep this journey alive, because not only the cow saves us, but we leave the good earth for our children when we go from here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Just you being in the call, you are a busy person, and today came into our call and talking about, as I said, many religions, many organizations are there. We've seen in Bay Area the largest Hindu temples in North America, right? So we have so many temples, but we work, as you said, unitedly for one cause to. Because cows, they cannot talk, and it makes so much difference when you just rescue one cow in your life. I mean, for that cow, how it feels, so we need to think in that perspective. And as you mentioned, Riteshji, and you already connecting with many people with your friends network, and with all your help and support, we can do this, have like 100 cows in Silicon Valley. Thank you, Hare Krishna. So yeah, so Hari Prabhu,